Everyone, it's Nick from Part-Time Pilot, your host of the Audio Ground School podcast. Welcome. And before we get started, I just want to mention that this Audio Ground School podcast is completely free. And every single week, we are releasing a new private pilot online ground school audio lesson and a new IFR online ground school audio lesson. But if you don't want to wait every single week for the new lesson, you want every single lesson included in our private pilot or IFR online ground schools, you want the complete ground school in audio, you can do that one of two ways. You can purchase it separately, just all the audio lessons at parttimepilot.com, or every single member of our online ground school, whether it's private pilot or IFR, also gets access to every single audio lesson. They get access to the audio lessons on the lesson themselves. So at the top of the lesson is the audio lesson, so you can read through while you listen, see the visual aids, watch the videos, take the quizzes, etc. But members of our online ground schools also get access to our VIP podcast. So this allows them to have every single lesson on their device, whatever device, their iPad, their iPhone, their Samsung, whatever device you have, every single one on your favorite podcast app, completely ad-free. So none of them have ads or me rambling on like I am right now. It's just the lesson. And you can download those, listen to them wherever you go, even offline in the VIP podcast. There's also bonus episodes on things like check red prep and other things like sleep, stress, things that also affect pilots. So you can either get that inside the online ground school, have them right on your lessons and have the VIP podcast, or you can purchase that VIP podcast separately. Both those are going to be at parttimepilot.com. All right, so let's get started with today's episode. Weather briefings. A great way for pilots to get all this information is in a weather briefing as part of a filed flight plan. By filing a flight plan at www.1800wxbrief.com or by calling 1-800-992-7433, a pilot can request either an abbreviated, standard, or Outlook weather briefing. For flights within 6 hours when no other weather information has been gathered, a pilot should get a standard briefing. For flights that have been delayed, or if a pilot has already received a weather briefing earlier in the day and just want an update, pilot should get an abbreviated briefing. And finally, for flights more than 6 or more hours away, a pilot should get an Outlook or forecast briefing. The weather briefing system uses all sources of weather information, such as METAR, TAF, AREA, SIGMETs, PIREPs, etc., to compile their briefings to you and can be extremely efficient and useful tool. When telephoning a weather briefing facility for pre-flight weather information, pilots should initially state that they are a pilot and then whether or not they intend to fly VFR only, as well as their intended route of flight, destination and type of aircraft, aircraft tail number, and estimated time of departure. With this information, the briefer can give you a more accurate briefing for your flight. Hey everyone, Nick here. Real quick, I want to make a quick student pilot service announcement, or SPSA, for those of you who want to finish your pilot training journey and achieve your dream of becoming a pilot. Now, there's a belief that many student pilots hold that goes something like this. Once I get my pilot certificate and pass my check ride, I will finally be the pilot in command, or PIC. And that belief is wrong. And if you keep waiting to pass your check ride to feel and act like a PIC, you'll struggle a lot. You'll spend thousands of dollars with no progress to show for it. Your instructor will continuously decide to not progress you through lessons because they don't see you as a PIC. And ultimately, you'll have to give it all up. Unfortunately, we see this far too often. The truth is, this transformation into a pilot in command needs to happen during your training. Look, flying is 80% mental, if not more. A mentally prepared pilot stays ahead of the aircraft, makes better decisions, learns faster, can actually focus on the act of flying, and exudes PIC energy. Instructors and examiners won't pass or progress students who they don't feel are a PIC. And to get them to feel you're a PIC, you have to feel it inside of you first. That's why I created Part-Time Pilot and why it is designed the way it is. We aren't just gatekeeping information that you have to pay for in order to access. The information to become a pilot, the FAA has been giving that away for decades now. And there are unlimited free YouTube videos, AI now, and other resources like this podcast where you can learn everything you need to know 100% free. Yes, we are proud of the content we do have inside our Part-Time Pilot courses. Our written audio and video lessons stand toe-to-toe with any other ground school at helping you understand the content. But that's not why we made Part-Time Pilot. We made Part-Time Pilot to actually help transform everyday student pilots into the PIC they need to become as soon as possible in their training. This way, student pilots are actually progressing through flight lessons, aren't repeating costly flights or doing extra ground lessons at $50, $70, or even $100 an hour these days. And they're actually achieving their dream of becoming a pilot. We do this with a complete step-by-step system and process for our students, combined with daily expert support, mentorship, community, and top-of-the-line new age study tools and that content. Take our student Jason, for example, a middle school English teacher who hated math and didn't have an ounce of aviation knowledge before joining Part-Time Pilot. Jason went from a 9%, yes, a 9% on a practice test he took before starting the course, to scoring a 90% on his FAA written exam and becoming a pilot just 6 months later. Or Caroline, whose CFI was so impressed at how much she knew before her very first flight lesson that allowed her to feel like a PIC much, much sooner than the average student and finish her private pilot in less hours and nearly $8,000 less than the national average spent. So even if you don't choose Part-Time Pilot, make sure you find a system, mentor, community, and instructor that has your back and can help you feel like the PIC you've dreamed of being before you get to your check ride. Because if you don't, you'll end up paying a lot more than you expected for flight training, and you and I know it's already expensive enough. To learn more about how we do all this, go to parttimepilot.com or click the link in your podcast episode description.